I found the best shooting center build in NBA 2K26. I'm able to shoot from anywhere on the court with Deep Bomber and snag every single rebound. Let's not waste any more time though. Let's go ahead and jump into the build. For our position, we are going to go with center 7'1" and a 7'1" wingspan. Now our weight is going to drop all the way down to 226. You guys could adjust this if you don't think you're going to be utilizing your speed, but I want to be able to have 70 speed so I can play threes in the park and the twos court as well. This build will be better for twos, threes, and fives. If you put that weight up so you can get 99 rebound, you're not going to be able to play fives with it. You'll be way too slow to help your team out, unless your team happens to play 2-3 zone and you can guard the corner. So for now, though, we're going to go 7'1", 226 with a 7'1" wingspan. Now, I'm going to give you guys two different versions of this build. I do have 8 cap breakers right now, so I'm going to be setting this build up for my cap breakers. If you guys do not have cap breakers, pay attention to the second variation of this build. I'm going to be making it for everybody that has no cap breakers. So for our physicals, we're going to max out our speed. We do want that 70 speed like we just talked about, and then our agility is going to go up to a 58. Now our strength, we get nothing past that 83 mark. So as you can see, I'm just going to take this all the way up to 83 so we can get that silver brick wall. Then for our vertical, that's going to max all the way out to an 82. Now, if you guys went lowest weight, you guys could go obviously a little bit farther down, all the way to where you got that 83 strength. But that 85 strength gives us that 85 defensive rebound. So I'm going to leave it at 83. All right, now for our defensive rebound, we're going to push this all the way up to an 85. We do want that gold box out beast and silver rebound chaser. Now, you guys might not even have to touch your O board. Me personally, I like to have a little bit of O board. And I also want to be able to have the ability to get crasher take in case I'm playing with people where I'm the main center. So I can throw on a wonderful crasher take and snag all of the boards. So to get crasher take though, you have to have an 80 offensive board. So we're going to go with an 80 O board here and an 85 D board. Now for defense, we're going to be doing a 77 interior on this build. And then our perimeter is going to go all the way up to a 62. And then our steal is going to go up to a 50. You guys could go absolutely no steal, but I hate going no steal in my builds. Now this build cannot get 60 steal. It can only get a 59 steal. So you are not able to get bronze interceptor, which does stink. But that's the reason that we went with like a 50. So it's better than nothing, but we also can't get a 60. So there's no point in getting a 59 steal. So now we're on a block. Our block is going to go all the way up to an 88. Now for my people with cap breakers, we will be cap breakering this to get 93 blocks so we can get gold paint patroller. We will also be able to get Hall of Fame high flying denier. And then we'll be able to +2 that paint patroller to have the legend paint patroller on our 7'1". All right, now we are on to ball handling. Ball handling, we're going to max this all the way up to a 72. Our speed with ball is going to go up to a 57. And our pass act is going to go to a 76. Now we will be cap breakering this, and it will go all the way up to an 87. So we'll be able to have gold break starter and all gold passing badges. And if we wanted to use our +2 on break starter or dimer, we could as well. Now we are on to our mid-range shot. This mid-range is going to go all the way up to a 91. And then our 3 ball is going to go up to a 66. And then our free throw is going to go to a 67. So our 3 ball, we will be cap breakering this all the way up to a 90. And then our mid-ranger, we will cap breaker with 1 cap breaker to 93. So this is very saucy with this build as well. It doesn't cost 2 cap breakers to get that 93 midi. It only costs 1. And then it costs us a couple of cap breakers to get to that 90 +3 ball to give us deep bomber, of course. This build really shines in the shooting category. This is where, you know, this build was made for. It's lights out. You have that 90 +3 ball. You're able to drop hundreds of points in the rec. You can shoot the 3 from literally anywhere, and that includes half court because you have deep bomber take. You're also going to have basically every single shooting badge in the game that you can get at 7 foot or taller. You have, you know, legend set shot specialist. You'll be able to have legend Deadeye, and you will also be able to have Hall of Fame Limitless. There's not really a way to get to that legend Limitless because we only get silver Limitless, but hey, it is what it is. We are still going to do very good with the Hall of Fame Limitless. Even gold Limitless is going to be more than enough. All right, so now we're on to the finishing category here. Our main focus here in finishing is going to be our driving dunk and our standing. We want to get that 73 driving dunk just so we get that bronze posterizer, and then we do want to have that 90 stand dunk. That way we get gold rise up and gold aerial wizard. Now, me personally, I put the ball on the floor a lot with my 7'1". I actually play point guard in the park with my 7'1". And then I play with like a lock and a popper, and I dribble and I take screens. So to be able to do that, I want to make sure that I have unpluckable. Right now, I have it on bronze. I could +1 that and move it up a little bit, but I want to get that thing on silver and then +1 it to gold, especially for when they patch those lane steals and, you know, on-ball plucks and getting blitzed. So we're going to move this all the way up to an 86 post control. Now the build is basically complete at this point. Everything you do from here on up is going to be based off your play style, okay? So because I want to have the ability to ultimately get some glitchy floaters, I need to be able to have a 92 close shot to get Hall of Fame float game. So I'm going to put this up to 88, and then I can eventually cap breaker this to a 92, which will give me that Hall of Fame float game so I can shoot floaters from the free throw line. Now you're left with some upgrades that you can still throw in here, and you could do this in either pass accuracy, free throw, or driving layup. Me personally, I'm going to launch mine in a pass act, so I get a 77 pass act, and that will complete the build. So we get shades of Marcus Camby, David Robinson, and Alper Sengun, and we get Rim Reaping Mid-Post Creator as the build name. All right, so here is going to be my animations for the 7'1" build. As you see, we get the Julius Randle go-to shot. Dribble pull-up's going to be Michael Porter Jr., and then we will go over dunk styles here in a second. We get Anthony Davis post hop and the Pascal Siakam post fade. Those are the must needed ones. And then I use Damian Jones for my motion style. Now for my dribble moves, here you go. We are going to be using all of these. And then here is the jump shot for the build. We're using Michael Porter Jr. The release speed is going to be set between push and release. And then we got Baluba as our upper 1, Zach Collins as our upper 2, and then 3/4 for our release speed, 80% Baluba, 20% Zach Collins. For our dunk style, we're going to be using Athletic Hangs Off 2, Basic One-Handers Off 1, Hangs Off 1, and then Athletic Hangs Off 1. And then we equip all of the standing dunk packages as well as the contacts. And then Giannis and Karl Anthony Towns are our signature player dunk packages. So 66 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 is going to give you that 93 ball, which allows you to have deep bomber. And then we do get that 93 mid-range shot, so we are able to get all those wonderful legend shooting badges. And then on top of that, with this build, we can cap breaker many other categories. As you see from my pass accuracy, I'm able to get an 80, 83, 86, 88, and a total of 90 pass ac after my cap breakers. I can also get that 93 block, and then if I really wanted to, I could take my standing dunk all the way up to a 95, as well as my close shot with a 92. There'll be loads and loads of ultimate unlocks with cap breakering on this build, so take advantage of it. But for all the people that don't have cap breakers, let's go ahead and show you guys that other version of this build. All right, so we are back in the builder, and I have the exact same build that I was making for everybody else in front of me here. So if you guys do not have cap breakers, obviously we're going to have to sacrifice some stuff, okay? So our main sacrifices are going to be things like strength, standing dunk. We can take down to, like, you know, that silver rise up badge, and then we can take our strength down and then ultimately use our cap breakers when we do get them on strength. The build will feel remotely the same if you just +2 your brick wall. So we're going to take our strength down all the way to a 78, and then eventually we will use, you know, 5 cap breakers to get that 83 strength. As you can see, that gives me a couple extra ticks that I can go put in my 3-ball, and that pulls my 3-ball all the way to an 84. Now remember, we added that extra tick into the pass accuracy, so we're going to take that down to a 76, which will give us another tick on that 3-ball. And then we do have that standing dunk left, so we can take from our free throw and then take from our stand dunk. We'll put our stand dunk all the way down to that 81 mark, which will give me my upgrades to get that 93 ball. And then we will get that 93 midi instantly. And now we're sitting at 98 overall with some leftovers that we can put in. Now, these leftovers won't really give me anything in stand dunk or driving dunk, but you could put them into pass act, get a 78 pass act, and then upgrade your free throw to a 71. So as you can see, now we get shades of Miles Turner, Chris Bosh, and Kristaps Porzingis, and the build is now going to be called a Rim Reaping 3-level creator. All right, so here's what you would do with your Rim Reaping 3-level creator with your cap breakers. So you're not really able to get that 90 stand dunk, which does stink, okay? But our first 5 cap breakers would go into our strength, and then obviously we put the other 5 into that 93 block. So your first 10 cap breakers would basically go into strength and block. Then you're left with those leftovers, and we would dump those into pass accuracy, which would be another 5 cap breakers. And then ultimately, you could take your close shot up to be able to have a fun, wonderful floater on this build. And yeah, you know, the cap breakers won't be as insane as upgrading your 3-ball with your 5 cap breakers to a 90, but they're going to still be very useful on this build. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, though, man. See you guys in the next one. It's been Hollywood. Peace.